Join the OurGame Supporters Club at Patreon for €5 per month to get audio podcasts of the Hurling and Football Show and much more exclusive material. Okay, we'll go into the power rankings now. The final thing before we finish up. This shouldn't take too long. Limerick are going to be at number 1.
Yeah.
Without doubt. Number 2, you're thinking Kilkenny by dint of winning the Leinster title. I think Kilkenny would not be able to do what Tipperary did in that first half. I think Tipperary obviously have a tougher route back. And we will probably, like if Tipperary are going to get to an All-Ireland final, they'll have to play Kilkenny en route. And I think we'd find out there. Tipperary need to win one game and then we'll find out the answer. But I don't think Kilkenny are capable of playing at the level that Tip played at for one half.
Which team has beaten Limerick most recently in the championship?
Well, after we beat them in the Munster round robin in 2019, yeah. Kilkenny did beat them more recently. But Kilkenny, all right, if you're going to talk about recency bias, more recently.
No, I'm not talking about recency
bias.
No,
you're the one who brought it up. Who won more recently? You said more recently. Tip played Kilkenny in the All-Ireland. Who won that game, which was more recent than what you just
Tipperary won it. Who was the
and by how much? 14 points.
Who was the better chance of beating Limerick if they play? Tip, let's call a spade a spade.
Tip do.
Tip have a better chance of beating Limerick.
Yeah. Because what they did, they just need to look at it on the side and analyse, right, okay, we might have to look at it like rugby. After 40 minutes, we're going to make 3 or 4 changes here because we can't afford to be overrun. I think Tipperary can go and do that and do it better.
Okay, you're speaking hypothetically, and you'd love for them to go and do that. Kilkenny have gone and done it a couple of years ago. They beat a Limerick team that were in their pomp. Yeah,
but Cork have done really well against Limerick the last number of years. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to put them ahead of Tipperary here.
Back to back, like they're back to back Leinster champions as well.
But sure, Munster is way stronger than Leinster.
I don't necessarily agree.
Really?
Well, don't necessarily agree, no.
Which of the power rankings we've done recently have had just Munster.
No, they haven't. Kilkenny were number 2 in their last power rankings, and Galway were number 4. 2 counties that play within the Leinster Championship. So that we had 1 and 3 in Munster, 2 and 4 in Leinster.
How have native Leinster teams done in All-Ireland finals? Right, 2016 lost by 9 points. Native Leinster team 2019 lost by 14 points. Otherwise, haven't made it there.
We're talking about native Leinster. We're talking about the Leinster Championship against the Munster Championship. Galway play in the Leinster Championship, whether you like it or not. You're giving out 1 minute. You're giving out that they're getting a handy passage to the All-Ireland semi-final. Now you're not calling them that they're basically not saying that they're in Leinster at all.
Well, look, Galway have it handy. That's all I know. Okay, right. So you're making a big play for Kilkenny to stay.
I know. I'm not making a big play. Tip were absolutely outstanding in the first half the other day. But
yeah, like Kilkenny play that hurling.
Like the power. I'll put it to you this way, Shane. The argument you're making is that Tip should be ahead of Kilkenny. Kilkenny are ahead of Tipperary in the championship already. There's a possibility that Tipperary will not get to the same stage that Kilkenny are at in the championship.
If they play tomorrow, who do you think would win? Exactly.
I think it'd be a very, very tight game. If they played tomorrow with Tip coming in after being beaten as they were in the second half the other day, I'd probably favour Kilkenny.
Okay, get your comments in out there. Let us know. I have Mike's in it here. Kilkenny number 1, Limerick 2, Galway 3.
Come on,
Mike. On, you're raving, Mike.
Pull the other one, Mike. There's no way Kilkenny are 1, and I'm a big Kilkenny fan.
Yeah, Tip may beat Kilkenny, but Kilkenny have better chance beating Limerick, according to Jack Nulty. Right, okay.
Who's a better chance of getting to an All-Ireland final? Like Kilkenny have a very good chance of getting to an All-Ireland final now. You can say that's by being in Leinster, and that they only have to win a game to get there now. But that's just the way it is. Like there's a fair chance that Tipperary will not be in an All-Ireland semi-final.
Okay, I think I'm going to have to accept defeat on this one. I shouldn't have had to accept defeat on Callanan being outside the top 10 hurlers, but I might have to by dint of them being in an All-Ireland semi-final and having back-to-back Leinsters. So I will accept that. Right, so Limerick 1, Kilkenny 2. Who's number 3? Now, don't upset me here.
Yeah, it's
definitely. You're not seeing the first half against Limerick.
I know. In fairness, and you can't write that off. And they're obviously our All-Ireland champions from 2019. By the way,
I think Limerick, if Limerick play against Kilkenny this year, I think they'll win by a minimum of 10 points.
Interesting. That remains to be seen. We'll have to actually see that. But Kilkenny have beaten Limerick far more recently in a meaningful championship game than Tipperary have. Number 3, I'm not changing our rankings too much. Like I Tipperary 3 the last day. Come on, Paddy, Offaly are not number 3. I'd love if they were. They might be in the future though. I would probably still have Tipperary. Number 3. They showed potentially, like in 2010 and like in 2019, Sheedy will realise exactly what he needs to do now to win an All-Ireland with this team, and that is mix the young with the old and make changes much quicker when the tide is turned against them. So I'm okay with Tip at number 3.
Okay, after that, you are looking at Galway, Cork, Clare, even Dublin. Dublin did well, like even performed well in a Leinster final despite losing 4 players to COVID, and then 1 player after 3 minutes to injury, and Mark Shuta at half-time due to injury. Lost by 9 points. Kilkenny's bench came on, scored 6 from play and 1 a penalty, which was the difference really. So Dublin, to be that weekend, did very well. They deserve to be somewhere in the conversation.
They do, Shane, but I put it to you this way. This is power rankings for how we see the championship at the moment and how we see the championship going. There's an element of prediction in this as well. Like Dublin are under pressure now. They're probably going to be missing Owen O'Donnell, Keane O'Callaghan, Ronan Hayes, Oisin O'Rourke, and Fergal Whiteley will all only return to training, at the very, very latter stages of the week. Leading, I can't even. There's a comment after
brilliant comment in. Yeah,
Vernie's top 10. Vernie's top 10. 1 KK, 2 KK, 3 Offaly, 4 Michael Fennelly, 5 the Macho Man, and 6 Burr. Come on, Mark. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but from a Dublin point of view, I don't know. I think they're a bit of a dead duck in this championship at this stage. Just as a matter of O'Donnell injured, Shuta injured. Starting cornerback coming back to training very, very late before their All-Ireland quarter final. Ronan Hayes is going to be coming back to train, and 2 subs that are used in championship games. So they're under pressure coming in. So to me, I think Clare deserve more kudos. We give them plenty of kudos, but I think we need to let our actions speak louder than words here. And I think they need to. I would have them ahead of Dublin in the power rankings.
Okay, I have Cork next in the power rankings for my money.
So you're going with Limerick 1, Kilkenny 2, Tip 3,
Cork 4.
Based on an 8-point beating against Limerick.
Trajectory. I can see them beating Clare here, and I can see them being a threat in the quarter final. Now, depending on how the draw works out, will they play? They could end up against Tipperary, and in recent years, Cork have always found ways to lose at Croke Park, but I know, just trajectory thing. I think Cork will beat Clare this weekend. So for that reason, they jump above Clare anyway. And you've already talked down Dublin. So then who is it that you're fighting for? Is it Galway?
It's probably Galway at 4, being honest with you, yeah. I am. They've done nothing to fall down the pecking order. We talked about potential COVID problems that they may have, but I don't think that's enough for them to fall. There's no way, neither Cork or Galway have played a game since we last done the power rankings. There's no reason Cork should take a massive jump and Galway should take a massive fall.
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to sneak that in there because I do think Cork's trajectory is on the way up. But okay, I'll accept Galway for Cork 5. You're looking at Waterford, Dublin. Obviously Wexford go down. Clare. Do you think Cork? It's basically down. Do you think Cork will beat Clare? And you've already said you think they will.
Yeah, I do think they'll beat Clare. Yeah,
okay,
I think Clare deserve to be next, though.
Even though Dublin will get further, based on our prediction.
Oh, yeah. Clare have had a big championship win. In fairness, they've had a championship win against a team that was ranked lower than them in the power rankings. But
Dublin could get to an All-Ireland semi-final. If Clare win, Clare will be playing their 3rd week in a row against the Dublin team that obviously they'll only have players back from missing out on COVID. They'll have Owen O'Donnell out. But that'll be a 50-50 game, and maybe Clare will be a little bit zapped, and then Dublin could be an All-Ireland semi-final, and you're talking them down.
Don't see them being in an All-Ireland semi-final. I think they will be beaten in an All-Ireland quarter-final.
Okay, interesting. So, Cork, Clare 6?
Clare 6 for me, yeah.
Where are Waterford fitting in here?
Under poor form, misfiring at the moment.
So Dublin 7?
Yeah, Dublin 7. Yeah, I think
Dublin
Waterford
7,
have,
Waterford
think
8,
Waterford
Wexford 9.
have a load of potential, but we haven't seen it yet this year. And I have no problem in saying I'd Waterford very, very high at number 3, and I think I bat for them for number 2, or I batted for them even higher than Tip. I think I actually did. No, they ended up higher than Tip. They ended up very, very high, and they haven't franked any form from last year. I hope they can turn things around, but I think their championship is over at the weekend, realistically.
Yeah, Patrick Hickey. If Clare won the All-Ireland, Shane would still have them in 7th. Liam O'Callaghan, I'd probably have Galway still ahead of Cork. Will, if you were to rank kits, Dublin 1, Wexford 2, Galway 3, Clare 4, Tip 5, Kilkenny 6, Cork 7, Limerick 8. Paul Mooney, Clare have won 2 championship matches. Cork got whipped by Limerick. How are Cork ahead of Clare? Well, by virtue of the fact that both of us think Cork will win this weekend. Waterford ahead of Wexford, no chance. We drew with the Cats. Fair point, but then again, you'd like going 110 to 3 points down the last day. But then again, I suppose Waterford went well behind Clare. After this weekend, it could change, but I think...
Yeah, well, Waterford are still in the championship, Shane.
Yeah, and there's also just a feeling of negativity around Wexford at the moment that I don't feel there quite is with Waterford. Waterford ahead of Dublin, says Liam O'Callaghan. If Cork start playing those young gunslinging forwards in the blistering heat, they'd be a force. 3 of the Dublin lads who missed the final have now tested negative, so them lads will be back. No, I accept that, but it's just they won't be allowed back training until next week unless things change, as far as I know. O'Donnell, massive miss. No way Cork 4, maybe next year. Waterford would beat Dublin. Give both your heads a shake.
I do think Waterford would beat Dublin. I do agree with that, but we're basing it on, like, Waterford have to win a game that me and you both think they won't win in order to get that chance.
Okay, that's it. Limerick 1, Kilkenny 2, Tip 3, Galway 4, Cork 5, 6 is Clare, 7 Dublin, Waterford 8, Wexford 9, Laois 10 by dint of beating Antrim, who are going to get relegated to the Joe McDonagh Cup, so I don't think there's any debate on that one. So Verney trapped there because Kilkenny getting further was his reason for putting Kilkenny higher up than Tipperary. We've talked so much that I can't even remember what point that remains or it refers to, but no doubt you were caught out. That's it for the Hurling Show. If you want to get the audio podcast, go to patreon.com/OurGame. Great way of supporting the channel, £5 a month there. That's it from myself and Michael Verney. Enjoy the hurling weekend coming.
Tune in next week for when we rip our power rankings up and go a new one.
Yeah, right. Good luck.
Thanks, Shane.
The Hurling Show, brought to you in association with Torpy. Torpy are leading hurling into a new future with Bamboo, a revolutionary hurley created using their unique engineered hurling performance know-how. Already being used by many inter-county players, Torpy's Bamboo is highly sustainable, offers players greater striking distance and a more consistent balance every time, without compromising on natural feel. Check them out on the Torpy website and in the link below, and enter the promo code OurGame to get yourself 10% off.